How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. I just had an awesome experience. And first of all, happy holidays to those that celebrate Thanksgiving. I'm recording this the night before, but I just had an awesome experience, and I want to I want to talk about where we are in this market, like my thoughts on Bitcoin, my thoughts on crypto, leverage trading, where Bitcoin is, where it's going, why I'm so bullish, and why I think this is going to continue. Why I think Bitcoin's going to do really well over time. Let me preface this by saying, I don't know your situation. Anything that you buy, anything that you sell, is your own risk. I'm not gonna know 99.99% of the people on this channel. So anything you do, it's on you. So let me just say that up front. But I just had an awesome meetup with some people very interested in Bitcoin that are invested in Bitcoin, some for a decade plus, some for a few years. And it was an awesome meetup. Thanks to everyone that was there. Maybe some of you are watching this video now, but yeah, it was really cool because we had people of all walks of life, people that have owned their own businesses, people that have worked on certain cryptocurrencies that you would know the name of, writing code for them. Some people that are younger, some people that are older that are already kind of in semi-retirement. And it was a really cool group of people to get together because we all have different situations. We all have different risk tolerances, and we're all just trying to figure out what makes sense for us, what makes sense for our families, what makes sense investing in Bitcoin, investing in altcoins, investing in MSTR, investing in miners, investing using leverage, investing using loans and that kind of stuff. Like all this stuff was on the table, all the way down to like how secure Bitcoin is. And it was a really cool conversation. I would suggest, if there are people in your area that are interested in Bitcoin or crypto, like do some meetups. It's cool to think through these different processes or these different options, right, for investing. And it kind of brings me back to why you would want to invest in Bitcoin in the first place. Like, what's the bull thesis? You have an asset that's inherently good. I think it levels a playing field because there's only so many coins created, and there's no central authority that is going to create more of that asset. So everyone has equal access. There aren't people pulling the strings behind the scenes, creating some more tokens when it benefits them. No. And you can send it across the world for, a couple dollars, maybe. If you're not using certain payment rails, maybe it's even cheaper than that. Same thing with other cryptos too. But you can send it across the world for seconds. It can be built into a bunch of different technologies. It's public. There are a lot of reasons to like it, right? Why would you invest in it, right? Versus just using it? Well, when you look at different assets out there, we have a lot of assets that keep up with inflation. And now the stated inflation, 2, 3, 4%, 9% at the peak. A lot of people consider the real inflation what the money supply goes up. It goes up by 12 to 14% a year. Also, if you just look at the growth of assets, right? Real estate goes up significantly. The stock market goes up significantly. And if you're thinking that, you want to accumulate wealth and you want to outperform those assets, or you just want to outperform the money supply, you have to get more than 12%. You have to get more than 13, 14%. So how do you do that? There may be a couple different ways. Maybe you pick individual stocks. Maybe you buy real estate using leverage. So you take advantage of all the upside appreciation and cash flow and write-offs and that kind of thing without, with the bank possibly pulling your real estate from you if you can't make the payments. So maybe there's something there, but it takes a lot more effort. And there are certain assets that are underappreciated, right? Like Bitcoin, where the reason it outperforms is because people don't have a large enough allocation, and there are continuously people joining the cryptocurrency industry, people that are learning about Bitcoin, people that realize its merits, that make an allocation towards Bitcoin or add to their Bitcoin stack. And because there is a set amount, the price goes up, and it goes up pretty significantly because there are a lot of people that like Bitcoin and that like cryptocurrency. So that's how you can get outperformance. And again, with Bitcoin, they're not adding more coins. So you have a static supply or a slightly growing supply, and then you have a lot of demand. Hence, number go up. Now, it's interesting to think about where this goes in the future. Obviously, like people are wondering what's going to happen the next couple months. There are always people that want to know what's going to happen 6 months from now, a year from now. And then there are people that don't care about that. They're looking 5-10 years from now. People that are very analytical that say, I'm going to go 90% Bitcoin because it's a better form of money over the long term. Maybe I'm worth $10 million, right? Maybe I sold a business. I'm worth $10 million. I can go maybe 90% Bitcoin because maybe I'm only going to use a couple $100,000 a year to fund my life. And I know over a long enough time horizon, Bitcoin's going to outperform. Now, I'm not saying that you should do that. Again, like there are various risk levels. I talk about leverage trading. That is a riskier version of investing. I use a couple percent of my portfolio. I would not suggest that for most people, and I would not suggest that with the majority of your portfolio, but you can outperform, just like you can outperform buying individual stocks or something, or buying call options, selling different options. So there are various risk levels, all the way from meme coins and leverage trading, or leverage trading with meme coins, all the way down to I'm going to buy Bitcoin, all the way down to I'm going to buy the S&P 500, all the way down to I'm going to buy individual stocks, individual stocks before the S&P 500, and then like end up with cash in the bank or something like that. So people have different situations. I will say there is a dramatic repricing happening in crypto. There are a lot of people that have some allocation towards Bitcoin that are having to reprice how much they want in Bitcoin or crypto. There are a lot of people that have access to more money that are starting to pile in because there are fundamentally things changing. Right? There's no playbook like, hey, this is when nations adopt. This is when the strategic Bitcoin reserve happens. This is when there are better capital gains laws behind Bitcoin, and they're going to want Bitcoin so much they're going to say, just you don't have to pay tax, just spend your Bitcoin or something like that. Like that is not laid out. There's no timeline for that. So when a big event happens, like a nation state talking about buying Bitcoin, and that wasn't really thought of to be in the near future, people have to reprice how much they want in Bitcoin. So I talked to people today that, are repricing how much they want in Bitcoin. How risky is it? Because there's a non-zero chance that something goes wrong. How risky is it, and how well will it perform? And when you think about it too, there are a lot of younger people that want to allocate more to this asset that are just, they're growing their businesses, they're working, they have other responsibilities too. Maybe they're just putting money into a 401k or an IRA or something like that, and they want to buy more Bitcoin. They're going to continue to buy more Bitcoin, but they have other things that they have to do too. So it makes you think, where will this be in 10 years? There are going to be people that pass away, right? Pass away, give money, businesses, houses, crypto to their kids. Like how much do their kids want to go into Bitcoin and other asset classes? I can tell you this, there are a lot of people that don't really want to deal with real estate. I've actually talked to a handful of people recently that are getting out of real estate to get into other assets. Whether it's Bitcoin or the S&P 500 or cash or whatever it is. There are people that are repricing how much of these assets they want to hold because Bitcoin outperforms and there's a lot less maintenance. Like there's more upside and less work. So I think this will continue over time. The asset class is going to continue to swallow up more and more of the global market. Right now, there's maybe $2 quadrillion in assets throughout the world. Probably more than that, but somewhere around there, 900 trillion. A very small percentage of that is Bitcoin, 0.15%. And that's when it's already gone up to 100,000. As it gets bigger, more and more people notice it. More and more people want to allocate towards it. So it'll be really interesting as time goes on. How does that trickle into Bitcoin? Do things actually get repriced in Bitcoin? I listened to someone recently that said houses are going to be priced at 0.01 Bitcoin. Basically, there are 2 billion houses or 21 million Bitcoin. So you start running back the numbers. Okay, well, if every house, if we divide up all the Bitcoin by every house, that's 0.01 Bitcoin per house. You can make a lot more houses. You can't make more Bitcoin at some point. And there are going to be more assets priced in Bitcoin too. And it is an interesting thought process. The way I approach it is probably different from a lot of people because my income is tied to YouTube, which is tied to how well the crypto market does. Right? I'm getting more views now that we're in a bull market than I did a year ago. So part of that jades, I think, my situation. I think sometimes I'm actually more bearish than I want to be just because I have so many people that I talk to with different, and I have to give different disclaimers, but I am extremely bullish on Bitcoin if you have a long enough time horizon. If you're looking, 4 or 5 years down the line, I think you're going to do really well in Bitcoin. If you're looking a year or 2 years down the line, it's a toss up, honestly. Like, it will probably continue to appreciate, but can you get in and get out at the right time? It's difficult. So you have to have a long time horizon. With altcoins, I think you can do well. I think a rising tide lifts all boats. So yeah, if you're investing in XRP, Cardano, Solana, those will probably do well throughout the bull run. But they also could fall down 80, 90, 95% during the bear market. And I don't know what's going to be around next cycle. So I've said this many times. I'm planning on selling all my alts throughout this bull market. I'm going to keep some of my Bitcoin, probably half, maybe a little bit more depending on the strategic reserve. And then I'm going to take profits out. Part of that is because my situation is different than yours, right? I'm trying to diversify a little bit out of crypto not because I'm bearish, but because I invested so much during the bear market. And again, my income is tied to it. So if I didn't work within the crypto industry, I probably would be even heavier allocated towards crypto, which is kind of an interesting scenario. But I do think it will do really well. I think there are several catalysts that can happen that aren't even on the table yet that will push up the price of Bitcoin. I mean, think about this. When Fidelity or Vanguard or BlackRock, whenever these companies start reevaluating their retirement portfolios, their target date funds, and they start including, instead of like 90 and 10, 90% stocks, 10% bonds for a younger person, they put 95-5, 90% stocks, 5% bonds, 5% Bitcoin. Then all of a sudden, 1 million people throughout the US start buying Bitcoin every week. They don't even know. They don't even care, right? They don't even look at it. How many people actually look at what they're investing in within their retirement accounts? A lot of people don't even know how much they invest, much less what they invest into. So there will be millions and tens of millions eventually, and maybe hundreds of millions of people that invest in Bitcoin without even noticing it, without even knowing it. But it has to be priced in. There are going to be people that start allocating towards it, and there are various levels to this too. Like, if all of a sudden MicroStrategy starts getting included in a lot of these funds, and they're going to at this pace, then people start buying MicroStrategy, whether it's in an index fund or in an index fund is how this would go. And then MicroStrategy's market cap balloons up. They create more debt, issue more shares, go buy more Bitcoin, and that forces up the price of Bitcoin. And then people have an allocation to Bitcoin, even if it's not directly. This is where I think the world's going. I think it's becoming institutionalized. There will be people that hold it directly, but it is an interesting scenario. And I think you have to be careful about being too bullish, too bearish. Like, you need to make sure that your brain and your emotions can handle whatever allocation you're making. So, if you're 100% and you can't handle that kind of volatility, you'll probably sell. So maybe not the best decision. Also, if you don't have enough, you'll probably FOMO in at bad times. So I think sticking to a plan is probably a good idea. You're never going to put in as much as you want in the bull market. You're never going to take out as much as you want during the bear market or before the bear market hits, unless you sell out of everything. But yeah, I would set some plan, stick to it, and then try to increase income, because at the end of the day, that helps a lot. If you're making, let's say you're spending $60,000 a year and you're making 70, then all of a sudden you can get up to 80 and you can double how much you're investing into crypto or Bitcoin or stocks. That's going to make a huge difference. So I am very bullish on this opportunity that we have. We are front-running institutions. We're front-running nation states. We're front-running states. And there are going to be people that wish they were here in this time. I was talking to people that were in Bitcoin 10 years ago, and I was thinking, wow, I wish I would not have been in high school or college at that time. I wish I had been making money so I could invest in Bitcoin. People are going to say the same thing about us. People that are in college now, high school now, are going to wish that they were here, right? Let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video. Let me know how you feel about Bitcoin right now. If you do want to trade, again, most people lose money trading. Most people, I think, shouldn't do it. But if you do want to, there are some links to leverage exchanges underneath the video. Make sure you understand the risks of using an exchange and using leverage. Make sure that you check their terms and conditions as well. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I think I will post this as the video on my profile. So yeah, I really appreciate you guys watching. Maybe share this to someone, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.